Hey guys, welcome back to Vintage RC. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is dedicated RC car channel restoring vintage RC cars, trucks, boats. We also like to do custom builds, and we'll do new builds as long as that's a vintage tie-in. So what we're looking at is something quite unique and quite special. This is a limited release from Kyosho. It's their Optima Mid 87 WC or World Spec prototype buggy. Now, let me read you a little bit of something on the back of this box that's really cool. In England, 1987 was the scene of the second IFMAR, that's International Federation of Model Race Cars, their electric off-road world championship. In addition to the standard Optima, Team Kyosho entered a midship motor-mounted prototype in the four-wheel drive class. Racing under its Mid Optima project name, the prototype stunned the world, making up 5 of the 10 cars to qualify through the A main final. But unfortunately, missing out on the top prize and finishing a credible second place, demonstrating the outstanding performance potential that this buggy has. The prototype was close to final product release to the market under its official name Optima Mid, allowing racers around the world to experience its profound magic. In my opinion, I think it's just a really amazing machine. And I drove about a year ago on my channel this one. And I loved it. It drives so good. I even have a couple of shorts on this thing, I believe, on the channel. It's just amazing. Just a very great buggy to have. And this one obviously is on another level. But just a beautiful machine too. One of my favorite RC cars. And I had a great time. So definitely check that video out. Just the Kyosho Optima Mid. We also did a Kyosho Optima 2. That was great as well with the chain drive. So I had a blast doing this one. Now, this can be a little intimidating for a lot of people because of the paint work that's got to be done. And before I get started, let me just show you what the original version looks like. We're not going to think about the box art so much. Let's look at what the original looks like right now. So you can see in the video or in the picture that it's a little different. It's not exactly, the body's not exactly tied into the rims so much. There's a slight difference in there, but you're close. And I think that's what you really need to go by. You just need to do it as close as you think is possible. I wouldn't try to go crazy and try to get it identical to the rims. I think that's I don't think that's really the goal. Now, if you go to RC Kicks, Gavin does a really good job at showing you how to go about doing it, and he gets a really good result with his buggy. But I went about it in a totally different manner, and I'll show you my method. Now, I don't say this is the best method, I'm telling you right now, but I've had good success doing these techniques because of years and years of paint work. But also a lot of prep work. So in order to get it to look like that, you really do need to prep the bodies. You got to buff them down on the inside, and you have to take time doing it. It's a lot longer to go about it in the way I went than the way you would do it correctly in the airbrush and proper paints. Now, doing it this method, you do have to prep the body, like I said, and add an adhesion promoter. And I went with this plastic adhesion promoter. Goes to vinyl, plastic, fiberglass, and more. And it's a Rust-Oleum version. And I let that sit on the shelf for a day. And then I went with my paints, and that was a Krylon Fusion all-in-ones. That's also suitable for any surface. But suitable for any surface doesn't mean it's going to be on there for very long. So you can paint anything with this stuff, but you've really got to allow time for it to dry and crystallize before you go to the next step of it. And I didn't want to do too many layers. I wanted to just do just the right amount that I needed to do, because I did do some testing before I did this body on some spare Lexan to see about how long I needed to do it. Yeah, so I think I went all with 4 layers of paint on this one, no more. The wing, about 8 layers of paint just in the sides, and I'm explaining to you why. And then I went with a darker ink-based blue for the bottom. That worked really well. I didn't do black. I went with just the dark blue, or what they call ink. And I think this pretty much gets it right on the money for me. Now, also, like I said, let's go back to the wing. Now the wing, I still got to go back in there and use some more brushes and touch some areas, because paint doesn't go in there 100%, even with airbrush. And then Gavin even talks about that in his video in RC Kicks. So you really got to go take your time with that, let those things cure. And you're going to want to go with mist. You mist the paint first, you let it dry, mist it, let it dry. It's a process. So it took about 3 days for that to work and to get to about where I needed it. And I still got to go back in there and add some more, because it's still a little too light in certain spots. So, but that's the way I was able to get it, and for me, and I really do like it. Now, yeah, I don't know what else to really mention about the body. I know that's going to be a big question. How do you get the body? How do you do the body? And hopefully this video shows you my method on doing it, and you're okay with it. Let me show you the chassis. Now this one's got special pieces on it. I had to make my own ESC stay out of carbon fiber that I had. It's not even 100% exactly the same weave, but it looks pretty cool nonetheless. We also went with some more carbon fiber on here for the support brace behind the motor. And then we went with a Yeah Racing motor plate that's got vents in it. And we got our stabilizers front and rear. Those don't come in the kit. And then carbon fiber bits here on the bottom and then in the front. So I'm pretty sure I'm missing something else. I can't remember, but just very cool buggy. Does come with ball bearings, which is nice. But yeah, the shocks are lovely. Just a beautiful car. I did drive it. It drives amazing. You're going to see it in the video. I actually think it does drive better than that one. It does. Just being honest. And it's sad. Oh, and then we got the carbon fiber wing mount. That's beautiful right there. That's from Vintage RC. So I'm going to put you all kinds of things on the bottom. We went with this in the description of what I used. This is the motor I went with, the 550 Kyosho Le Mans 360, and I think it's a perfect match for this buggy. It really does drive nicely. Plenty of power. I'm not going to put a brushless in it. That costs a whole bunch of money and just sitting on the shelf, because I'm not going to run this one much, maybe ever in a blue moon. Mostly going to be a shelf queen. So I'll just show you some of the brands I use. I went with Kyosho stabilizers. I'm going to put everything in the video. Yeah Racing's motor plate. Vintage RC for the wing, carbon fiber wing mount. And I don't remember the brand I got the other bits from. There's a couple other pieces on here. Can't remember. But I'll have all that in the description for you guys. And that's pretty much it. I might be missing something, but the video will go through it all. Not a super complicated buggy to do, but man, what a cool one. Legendary, Akira Kogawa. What an awesome individual. So there you go. I think it's killer. We're gonna go right now what it took to make this bad boy come to life, and then we're gonna go into the run video. That's gonna start right now. Alrighty guys, here it is, Kyosho Optima Mid. We're starting to get ready to build it. Before we get started, I want to kind of go over everything we're going to be using to build this kit. We got the carbon fiber pieces here. It's going to really enhance the look of this thing when the body's off, because a lot of this is carbon fiber anyways. So a little bit more carbon fiber never hurts nothing. And then we got the motor plate here from Yeah Racing. I bought one of these for the other Optima Mid, and it works amazing, and it's just killer looking. It's vented as well. Then we got the wing kit, wing mounting kit here from Vintage RC, with it's carbon fiber as well. Then we got a 996 servo here. It's the R model, so it's a little bit better. Then we got a Le Mans motor 360 that's been collecting dust, 550 can. And I think it's going to look killer in this thing. But I know a lot of people put brushless power in those, and that's great. But yeah, I don't need it. I just want to put a really pretty motor in it. It's going to look great. Not going to run this one much because it's too nice, too pretty. Then we're going to add some lubes and oils and stuff like that to keep this thing moving freely. Then we got some cool paints. The only thing is, this is not your typical polycarbonate paint by no means. You have to prep the bodies in order to use paints. I like this. It works if you prep it right. But you only get one shot at this kind of thing. So you really got to know what you're doing. So I don't advise going this route, but I did test this paint here on a little bit of a polycarbonate sheet, and it looks really close to the box in a specific lighting, and it's super cheap. So went this route. I'm going this route with it. In order to make this work though and stick, you do need a promoter, and we got that right here. Then we also have 2000 grit and 3000 grit sandpaper to kind of scuff up the body so it adheres better to the paints on the inside of the polycarbonate shell. Got our super glues, got our thread lock, and got our blades. We're ready to get this party started. Alrighty guys, here we are. Everything's going good at this point. If you're following along with me building yours, we kind of did an error. It's not even really that serious because it's correct. But in the kit, with this one here, they give you all this bling. This is the lower piece, right? That goes right here. Even that goes right there. It's perfectly fine, but they kind of give you a blingy piece, although you can't even see it. So it's kind of funny when it's in here and the motor's in here. You're never going to see this piece ever. You never even know it was there, but it is there. So we got to backtrack before we get to any further. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this piece up from the bottom, slipped it up. You're going to have to undo these two pieces a little bit, and it slides up. Then we're going to undo the E-clips from the back right here, push those through. This piece will come out then. We got to remove that little piece of foam that's underneath there, put it on this one, and then just, reinstall the pins all the way through again, put the E-clips, and then push this back down, and then screw it back in. Tighten it up, I guess. That's it. So let's go ahead and do that. I apologize if you're following me along. I just didn't spot this one in the kit for some reason. Where I did the last Optima Mid, it had this black piece, and my brain just automatically went to that piece and put it on. So let's go ahead and do this quick fix right here. Alrighty guys, so what we got to do now is, in order for the wing mount system to work that came with the kit and all the cool hardware, I actually have to modify or basically cut the wings mount that I got for this Optima Mid. It's actually really nice, but unfortunately these pieces won't work with this specific kit. So let's go ahead and cut those pieces off, and then we'll be able to mount the in-box pieces, and it'll look really good. All right, now for the run review. Just a beautiful car. Just kind of gonna drive in a little circle real quick. And now with this 550, I understand it definitely is quicker than the regular Optima Mid with the 25 tooth pinion in the low to mid range, but it's on the top end where you want to kind of increase the pinion size. I honestly think if you're running a 550 motor in these, you want to probably go up to maybe a 27 tooth or maybe even a 29 or so, just to really give it that top end, because I can hear that motor really wanting to go a little bit higher. And 21 miles an hour is not fast, but it's not slow, but this motor's got a lot more in it, and it really wants to rev, but it can only rev if you give it the option of a pinion increase, and the 25 pinion is not enough. Yeah, it definitely needs more pinion. But this is the only time I'm really gonna run this car. So I'm not really, I might run it again in the future, but it's such a pretty car. And my tires aren't glued on here either. So that's probably got a little bit to do with some of the loss in speed, which I have a remedy for it just a second. We're probably gonna switch out these tires real quick. Let's do that. Oh yeah, much nicer. I don't hear the tires spinning off the rims. Oh, this is a night and day difference, my friends. Yeah, this thing's crazy amazing. All right, well, wow, so cool. Let's go ahead and bring her in. Alrighty guys, that's gonna be a wrap on this bad boy. I think she turned out beautiful. Well, as beautiful as these can get at with this color code and everything, but I love it. It turned out great, drives amazing. Best handling car on the channel, and I've done a lot of them. Not the fastest, but this thing's got potential in spades, so you could do a lot with this buggy. My advice, if you have the original Optima Mid and you want another one that is upgradable or already gives you the upgrades, this would be a great option for that. It is a bit expensive, but as you can see, it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful machine. With that, I want to thank you guys for coming along with me on this journey of restoring this bad boy or building this bad boy. And hit the notification bell and please subscribe. Got a lot more cool videos coming up. I promise you're not going to want to miss them. Some awesome ones. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. All right, so top speed, we're at 0. Let's see what she does. All right, 21 miles an hour. I'm happy with that.